Right, let's take you back to our top story now. The ANC's top leadership adamant that Marius Fransman is not back at his job as the party's Western Cape leader, despite claims over the weekend by Fransman and the party's head of elections, Nomvula Mokonyane, that he had actually resumed his duties. Let's get clarity on this story. ANC spokesperson Zizi Kodwa joins us in studio now. Zizi, lovely to have you with us. Thank you for braving the weather to come in. My understanding is that sometime after these allegations surfaced, Marius Fransman and the party mutually agreed he would step down, he would go through some kind of a disciplinary hearing in front of your National Integrity Commission until there was a resolution to the allegations. What has happened since then?
That the resolution stands. Two, the Integrity Commission has now completed its report. And as expected in terms of the procedure, it then presents its final report. Because this report is no longer being presented as recommendations to other structures. It's presented as a final report to the national officials. When does that happen? That happened a week ago. And in the report of the Integrity Commission, there is where they suggest, recommend that this matter, to an extent that they take it serious, it must go before the National Disciplinary Committee. That recommendation has been accepted. From where we stand, that issue is on its way now to the NTC. And Comrade Marius has not appeared before the NTC. And therefore, to reinstate him, remember, like you say cordially, because initially the organization had not voluntarily stepped aside. The organization would have still asked him to step aside given the seriousness of the allegations.
I must just ask you, we're being told on good authority that he showed up for work this morning at the office. Is that true? Well,
I'm here at Gauteng. I heard about those reports. But whatever happens, the organization will always be in a position to defend, for the sake of its integrity, must stand and defend its decisions, whether he shows up or not, but there's an official position of the organization.
But let's be clear on this. Is he allowed to come through to the office and resume his duties if he's going through this process?
No, from our understanding and from what the Integrity Commission, some of the findings of the Integrity Commission, Marius is not reinstated as a leader of the Western Cape ANC. In other words, as we speak, he is not expected to resume his duties as a chairperson of the Western Cape because there are internal disciplinary processes that are underway internally.
How could the party have allowed him to go on the campaign trail with the president last week?
Well, last week what had happened is that as the president arrived, Marius was part of the delegation that received the president. And in that instance, there is no time to ask how you came about already while campaigning. And I think that is a focus, which is why we have always said, let's avoid such shows, things that may want to distract us from the main election message. And this is but one issue that I think is just a distraction from a main election message. But that's why we thought we should come out and explain the position of the organization officially so that this issue is laid to rest.
But let me understand this correctly. It means he showed up at a rally where he was not welcome, and he put the president and Nomvula Mokonyane in a very difficult position that caused her basically to lie.
No, I won't speak on her behalf. I don't think she lied up mainly, but I think the president of the ANC, if you get to a rally, already there's a leadership on the area, the local leadership gathered. The president will not ask about who was invited, is not involved in those logistics.
But the president would know that Marius Fransman is going through this internal process and is accused of sexual harassment.
The president is the president of the ANC. And surely he would have known, he knows that there were these issues. As we are aware that when the Integrity Commission presented its report to the officials, the president was out of the country, was on a state visit to Paris. I'm sure he would have been briefed by the Secretary General. But the point I'm making is that what the president will not do, having arrived at a point for elections, find someone for whatever processes that the president must make structures to account on the spot, what happened and so on. Surely the president would have expected at some point he will get a report, and I'm sure he would have done after that meeting, the visit to Cape Town, which is the issue that we're explaining now. Not so much about the president, about the ANC.
This is interesting what Nomvula Mokonyane said. She said he'd been cleared, he was back on the job, nothing had changed. Did she have to tell such an elaborate lie if she wasn't sure why he was there?
Well, again, I'm sure without speaking on her behalf, she would be better be in a position to explain. Because
shouldn't she be disciplined for that statement? It was a lie, no doubt.
The point is we explain in the organization, including the issues that Comrade Marius still faces. They are not resolved. They're not cleared of those issues. The Integrity Commission is a detailed report about the interaction in their investigation, to an extent that they even made a recommendation, that to an extent that these allegations are serious, they suggest the NTC, so nothing is resolved.
Let me just go back to something that ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe said following this rally the other day in which Marius Fransman participated. He said the ANC members repeating the claim that Fransman is back are ill-disciplined. Shouldn't the party deal with those members like Mokonyane who are ill-disciplined in Gwede Mantashe's
That's why part of our strategy is basically to come out publicly to confirm the issue so that we don't link speculations around the issue. As to then what happens in terms of how we must deal with this issue, the ANC has its own internal processes of how to do. I'm sure people given an opportunity, they will explain themselves as to what prompted for anybody to make such a statement. But I'm sure at the moment, nobody can stand up on eNCA studio and say this is what the organization is going to follow. But officially, the issue is about Marius. This is the official position of the African National Congress. The matter is not resolved. The matter has now been resolved, among others, that it must go to the NTC of the organization.
Do you agree that as a party you disrespected Louisa Wynand as an alleged victim of sexual harassment at Marius Fransman's hands?
In what way? As a party?
Well, do you not feel that allowing him to join the party on the campaign trail in such a public way, allowing a lie to be told about the reason he was there, do you not think you disrespected a legal process?
The fact that we are now here is a sign of respect. We are now explaining the official position of the party, which you would know that within 24 hours of the incident in Cape Town, there was a lot of you who got interested, and even members of the organization, some of whom in the Western Cape, even the structures who asked, why is the issue not explained in the structures of the organization organizationally? The person who would make such announcements in the organization, because it's quite heavy decisions, they'll be made by the Secretary General of the organization at an appropriate time, if there would be such a decision.
Zizi, I must ask you, I mean, Marius Fransman obviously enjoys some popularity in Cape Town. Are we to infer the ANC is so desperate to make inroads in a DA-dominated metro that you would sacrifice the party's ethics to be for the president and the senior head of party election campaigns to be seen in public with a man who's been accused of something very serious and who allegedly has compromised himself in the party's name?
I think it will be mischievous even to suggest that we have compromised the ethics and integrity of the organization. The fact that we restate the position of the organization is to correct the earlier assertion, that the earlier assertion was wrong. We are restating the position of the organization, which among others respects the very same ethics, integrity, including taking seriously the allegations that were put against the leader of the ANC in the Western Cape.
And you understand the seriousness of sexual harassment allegations and the state in the country, the fear under which women in this country live, often at the hands of very powerful men who may or may not be guilty of these allegations. Do you not feel that the party owes Louisa Wynand an apology for allowing her alleged aggressor to join the party on the campaign?
There was no position of the African National Congress upon which the question could be asked. Is it necessary for the ANC to apologize? There was no letter from Lutulaus or any structure, which in the course of our internal work to find out how Comrade Marius was able to be part of the campaign trail. It's a matter that we can deal with in the organization. But as of now, it's important to state officially that there is a position which the Secretary General stated earlier today as well, that there is no decision, no structure took a formal decision to reinstate Comrade Marius. The matters around his name are still not cleared, are still being processed internally, including him appearing before the NTC.